Right, Assad. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Wa alaikum assalam. Hello. How are you?
I'm great, man. I'm great. I am very, very honored to have you on. I have to be honest.
I'm surprised you're honoured. I'm actually honoured to be on here. That even
No. We're not playing tennis. We're not playing poker tennis at the moment. Okay, we're not the compliment tennis. We're not. All right, this is a one-way street here, mate.
Okay, well, dial it back a little bit. Thanks for finally getting my name right. Just to bring it back down.
Yes. I'm so sorry.
No, that's fine. It happens all the time. You'd be surprised. Even my sponsors who work with the Pokemon company as licensees have called me at dinner, PokeCollector, and I've actually had to stop dinner there and say, Helen, you've been working with me for about 7 years now, and you still haven't got it right. So yeah, good times.
All right, dude. So like for the people that do not know you, man, for these fools that do not know you, man, who are you, bro?
Who am I? Well, I don't know how to sum it up, but I am Assad. I live in Auckland, New Zealand, and I have been doing this whole Pokemon YouTube thing for over 10 years now. That's probably the best I can sum it up without bringing in a blurb of mundane sort of mumbling.
Yeah. So like you've been all over the globe, pretty much. I don't. Yeah, you could say that, right? I could say that, right? But what's your background? What did with Pokemon? Like, why Pokemon?
Well, Pokemon's always been there from the very beginning, since it first aired on UK TV. And I just got really, sort of addicted to Pokemon since I was a kid. Had the whole trading card thing, but then I went to high school, started moving around because Dad moved jobs, and then ended up in New Zealand. But within that whole period, I completely forgot about Pokemon, and it was only when I was procrastinating from my neuroscience exams in 2009. Quite literally procrastinating. I was too busy watching some other YouTubers then, back in the very baby days of YouTube, and I decided I was just going to make a channel. So I made this really terrible now 3-episode entry to YouTube, which I thought was going to be that was it. But the viewership became so crazy that I just stuck with it, really. And now 10 years on, I'm still doing it.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then so Pokemon was where was, before you came to New Zealand, where were you?
I was born in the UK.
Yeah.
And I grew up in Wales, Cardiff, South Wales. So I consider myself mostly Welsh, although I've lived in New Zealand more now than the UK itself. Moved to Scotland for a bit, and then moved to Auckland in 2003.
Because around 2003, it would have been Pokemon was kind of like at its peak around just before that. I think.
Yeah, it was about I think 2001, 2002, where it sort of was at its peak, and then it sort of, I think it might have just the age group that I was with was the sort of original crew of Pokemon, so it sort of disappeared for a little bit for everybody, and then I think there was this sort of nostalgic phase beginning in 2007, 2008, when everybody's sort of reminiscing all of that, and then it kind of sort of had a resurgence there, and now it's just huge again.
And it is crazy huge. Like it's by all means, it has to be one of the most kind of passionate cartoon fan bases out of anything. Oh, not cartoon, but I suppose, yeah, and animated things. There's
one of the biggest brands in the world. Trading card game wise, it's in the top 3. It's just huge. I can't even. All I can say really was it was a very satisfying sort of I told you so moment to my parents, who said that this is never going to last. Even I didn't think it was going to last, and it's still here. So, and I don't think it's ever going to go. To be fair. Yeah.
So you started the YouTube channel off, and then it was just on okay, I'll just start this off and see what's happening. And then did you just get like a wave of like a lot of people just were digging your stuff, or how did it work?
I don't really know, because I still don't find myself very what do you call it? Is it approachable, or I don't know. I'm approachable as a person, but in terms of my content, I feel like I just sound really dull. So I don't really think it was going to be very. I really didn't go out there for an audience to begin with. It was in a day, it was in the days before partnership and monetization was a thing. YouTube was like in its baby stages, so it was nothing to do with money at all, or income, or anything like that. It was just people being pranked and just doing their own thing. So I didn't really think of viewership at that point, but I did notice that when I first started, in the first few months, it started building quite heavily. The viewership kind of got crazy, and I just kind of went with the flow. I didn't really do anything extravagant. The tools that we had back then weren't very massive. I think Twitch was probably just about to be born or something. I wasn't really sure. I was on Ustream back in those days, so I did live streaming, but before Twitch became a massive thing as well. It's just a bit bizarre. I kind of just went with the flow, and I didn't really pay much attention except to just sort of keep in touch with the community, and I had a good time talking with them and having a bit of an escape.
You just kind of rode the wave, pretty much, that you I don't want to say accidentally. I don't want to say like accidentally fell on, because
well, to be fair, I think it was. I kid you not. If I was to start it now, I don't think I would have the same success. I think there was a very big element of luck and timing back then. I think if I did it now, I might not have that same. I won't have the same effect, because I mean, first of all, I'm not sort of that excitable in terms of if I get the most amazing card. I'm not just going to be having sort of this earthquake effect going on and just sort of screaming my lungs out. I mean, I'll be surprised and amazed and thankful, but it's not the reactions that people probably want to see.
It's not genuine, you know.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be genuine, because I mean,
I just stay true to myself, which is a bit more. Well, I guess I'm just going to say I'm boring.
Well, don't say that. If you were boring, I wouldn't get you on. Like, you're a very interesting dude, like, to me. Because here's what, like, it's funny you say that, because, like, I don't think you're boring at all. The first time I ever kind of found out who you were was I was doing that Aroha for New Zealand stream.
Oh, yeah.
And then you were like, man, you were great. And I was like, oh, wow, okay, this guy's PokeCollection. Let's have a look. And then I was like, wow, this dude, Jesus Christ, this is good. This is the guy. And then, so like that's how you kind of. But the thing that really kind of hit not a nerve, a good nerve, I suppose, was that like you really just don't care what other people think, and it's great. It's fucking amazing.
I mean, this is not a family-friendly channel, so I can say I give no shit. Absolutely. I'm just kind of doing my thing.
And that's what's like so cool about it, because I guarantee you, like, and I know people that know, hundreds of people that love Pokemon, and that like and they're like adults, like they love it, and I know that my kids love Pokemon, but for you it's just like, yo, this is what I'm gonna do. Like if you wanna get on my train, jump on board, but if you're not, then fuck it. Like I'm not gonna. And you said it just before. You were like, what did you say? You were just like, I'm just going to do me. I'm not going to try and be somebody else. And that's why I instantly saw you, and I thought, I like that about this dude. He just wants to be himself, and that's great.
Well, can I just say, I was really mesmerized by watching you the first time. And actually, I realized how stupid I was. I wasn't even following you until now. I just saw that before. I don't know how I managed that. But I was just so mesmerized by his screen. I was laughing my head off. I thought you were amazing.
Thanks, man.
I just can never pull that off.
And that's the other thing is like, and I talk to other streamers, and they say, I want to do that, but sometimes it doesn't work. And for me to see you just get it. You just know exactly, this is what I do. If you like it, watch it. If you don't, go away. And that's it. That's really what it is. And that's why you're not boring to me at all. Because I admire that, man.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, because I tell you what, how many other people jump on YouTube, or they jump on Twitter, or they jump on any other thing, any other content platform, and they try to be somebody that's popular. And you know, I bet, was there anybody when you first started? Was there anybody doing what you were doing?
So I actually was influenced by a few OG PokeTubers back then who no longer actually YouTube anymore. Actually, one person just resigned this year. So it was sort of, I feel like I'm just I think I might actually be one of the very few, if not the only, left in terms of the OG crew now. So a lot of those people also moved on, and that's fair enough. But I was influenced by them, and yeah, I just kind of carried on from there, really. I'm not really in touch with them from now. I think I've forgotten the question because I just completely
It's
got
fine.
distracted. I'm sorry
Yeah,
about
I mean the OGs that kind of like you saw,
that. Yeah.
and they're all gone. Like,
Yeah, so they're all sort of the people who've been around. Yeah, they're definitely a lot of them have sort of disappeared now, and there are a few people that I know of, but I think there's definitely a disconnect now because I mean, not only in age, but I think also the time there's been quite a bit of a shift in terms of audience, their expectations, a new generation of YouTubers, and even in my stats, it shows that people have grown up with me, and there's a lot less sort of younger people coming in from there because it's sort of like we're all growing together, so it's sort of going with them as opposed to bringing the new people in. So it's an interesting one, but I'm still sort of very much involved with the community, and just sort of doing my thing, and just for people who do tune in and watch and stuff, I'm still there, and doing sort of getting my sort of escape as well in the process of it all.
that's cool, man. Like for you to say like people like grow up with me, that's amazing. Like I think that's the pinnacle of content creation and community engagement is that people will
Yeah.
hang around and just keep supporting and helping and doing what they can to keep things alive and to keep you going. That's so cool, man.
It really is. It was really last year was very humbling because we celebrate 10 years of the channel, and at this point life's changed so much, responsibilities are there, there's a lot more going on than before where it was just university and sort of like Skyview classes, but it was just really humbling to see how many people tuned in online and overseas or locally or just actually traveled up to the public event, and it kind of just, you see the kids that were very small, my sister included, who was 8 when I first started, and then 10 years on, obviously they've grown in that much in that time, and you see them sort of grow in height, just everything. It's just absolutely bizarre to even see and acknowledge that you've seen them grow as well, quite literally there in front of you. That to me probably, I mean, as much as it's flattering, it's buzzy. It's hard to sort of take that in sometimes. It's quite intense, really.
Yeah, because you're so it is buzzy. Like I haven't had that, but I've had moments where I just sit back and I'm like, wow, like I just sit. And have you ever got this, man? And I'll ask. No, I'll ask it now. Like the first time you realize, holy shit! Like people actually like watch this. Like are really into it. Have you ever had that moment? I had that moment one time, and I'll go through my one before, so we get the same thing. I went to a meetup, right, and I was streaming for like 6 months maybe, and I do this whole Wakanda, this Ric Flair woo thing. I walked into this restaurant, 50 people started wooing at me, and I was like, what? Because I just sit here, talk smack to a camera, play a video game in my underwear, like, and a t-shirt. Nobody sees the undies unless I have to stand up. All right, but what was that moment for you?
It's hard to pinpoint one because I used to work at a particular retail store here before I sort of got into marketing and everything, and I think it sort of clicked. So I've always kind of, I don't know how to put it. I've never really considered it fame, and I always struggled saying fans.
Yeah, same.
Viewers. I can't. It sort of sounds almost humble braggy. I just don't like it. So I say fans, but all because I know people refer to themselves as that, but also viewers and just general people that watch the channel. But I think it was when basically I've just always sort of done my thing like you, just talk to the camera. It took me a long time to even get comfortable with that, and just kind of get on with life. But I think it was when I was getting on with life, and then it sort of impacts your daily life. That's when you sort of think, oh, okay, that's just happened, that's weird, and that's happened in front of your colleagues, and then they start to realize, oh, okay, that's a bit strange, that's not normal. So I think there's been a couple of situations where I was working one day, and when you're working, you're not in sort of, I mean, I consider myself very genuine when I'm on screen, so what you see is what you get, even if I'm miserable, which is why you don't see me there when I'm miserable. But there is also an element of showmanship in the sense of presenting. So there's sort of a slightly heightened version of yourself when you're talking. So when you're working, there is none of that. And you sort of look up and you hear somebody say, "Hey, are you the Pokemon guy?" And then you're like, oh, you have to switch on your face, make sure it doesn't look, I have a really bad resting bitch face, so it looks really scary. So when I'm focused, that's what it was. And that was probably one of the first times I had a kid come up to me, and it's really awkward because the parents are like, who's this stranger?
Yeah.
Why are you acknowledging this person? But the most funniest moment, which I'll never forget, was when I was crossing the road once, and there was a car that gave me way, and I paid no attention to it whatsoever until the window in the back rolled down, and this cutest little kid and his brother, they were waving these booster packs of Pokemon trading cards out the window, and they're like, "PokeCollection, we just got these cards. We'll show you what we got." And then they drive off after giving me away. I was completely shocked and paralyzed on the spot. I think that was probably the moment I was like, "Oh my god,
that's so cool, man!"
Yeah, that was probably the funniest moment I think for me.
I watched the video on your channel. It was for no. I promise.
I don't watch myself.
The one for your birthday when it was like, man, that was crazy, man. There was heaps of people that were just like,
a lot of people. I was I was actually just expecting 10, but I really was it was just awesome to see that many people there.
Man, I was like, whoa, and it does, and I mean, it's really funny. Like people will go, oh man, you changed my life, or you impact like how I was when I was growing up and things like that. Man, that must be really cool, man. Like really humbling.
It was really nice. I actually struggled I'm not going to lie, I did struggle to hold back a few tears that day, because not only was my eyes stinging because I was exhausted from the live shows those last couple of weeks, but it was also one particular person that came, and he said that he drove from Hamilton, and his name's Hamish, and he came up and said, I couldn't come up for your birthday thing on the 5th birthday, but I kept this little he made this collage. I think he was probably 14 or something at the time. He was now 19. And he had this sort of collage of PokeCollection stickers and a collection of different flyers and stuff that he pasted together in artwork, and basically made it into a happy 5th birthday card. And he said he kept it. And then the 10th birthday was the time he wanted to come up, and he basically changed it to the 10th birthday, and we both just added the new branding that I just launched before that together there. Yeah. That was a bit weird and insane, but I was just like, this guy's just grown up from this little teenage kid to going to university as an adult. It's just that was, it was crazy, and it was an amazing turnout.
And so like just because you do like your collection is anything Pokemon, right? So
the cards, basically,
the games,
trading cards, toys. I'm mostly focused on the trading cards and the games mainly, and then also the movies and anime and stuff. Well, basically everything, I guess.
What gets the most viewership in terms of like with you?
The toys. The toys definitely got the most. I think that was just more. I think it was a lot more accessible for a lot of kids and families to see. Trading cards, that's how I started, but trading cards actually is a lot different. As the audience is very different. Either you've got collectors or you've got actual players, or both. But yeah, I'd say toys for sure.
Yeah. In terms of like monetization of like your content, it's changed immensely, right, over the last like 6 months.
Very.
Yeah. Can you explain that to me?
Sorry, carry on.
Can you explain it to me? Because I don't do the YouTube thing, so I'm like, but I know there's something like if it's for kids, the monetization changes or something like that.
That's happened. So okay, when I first started monetization came in, I think about 1 or 2 years in to my me starting on YouTube, and then it was very early stages. Like I don't even have data for the early years because I didn't have insights then. So any insights that I have will always be forever inaccurate because they only started documenting that stuff later. But in terms of the monetization of videos, originally there was no restrictions. Obviously, as time went on, the years went on, advertisers became a lot more pickier, and obviously there's content ID protection and all that stuff. The general trend has been from sort of monthly, I guess, income from videos that obviously based on clicks and viewership and everything. the amounts that we received then was a lot more than we receive now, and even now, I mean, it wasn't livable then, but if it wasn't livable then, now it's absolutely not livable, which is why I've never made YouTube my primary source of income. I've always had something going behind there, and that's when when people come to me and ask about like how do you become successful or something like that, and how do you make money, I say that's probably the worst thing you can go in thinking, is to go in for that aim, because you all probably will set yourself up for a bit of disappointment, unfortunately. So I've always sort of kept that going, but in terms of the restrictions with kids, while I'm a family-friendly channel, it's you can choose whether you want to say it's specifically for kids or not. The advertisers change, obviously. If you select it specifically for kids, then yes, the advertising becomes more specific towards kids-related things, and therefore your monetization would be altered. But it's so negligible in terms of the amounts that we're getting now that I don't actually even look at the money I earn from there anymore, to be fair. Like, I actually am not aiming to make money off of the YouTube channel, and I say that quite honestly. It's just there's just no money in it, and so a lot of it really is rooted in just the pure joy of doing it, and working with the people that I get to work with, and obviously communicating with the people that follow it.
And that makes things so much easier. Like,
yeah, definitely. I think it's just too stressful.
Yeah.
It's just too stressful. I mean, it's a nice little perk to have every few months. You get something through, but it's not the be all end all for me.
Would you say, and I not monetary wise, but I mean perk wise, I suppose, that your relationships with sponsors and with the companies far outweigh the stuff that you'd get from YouTube?
Absolutely. A lot of the sponsorships began before monetization, and I actually I never really thought of myself as an entrepreneur back then, but it was just an idea. I thought, hang on, let's see if I can promote the things that I love, and contact the suppliers. And this was through my retail. I used to call them there, and they said, yeah. Once they said yeah, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That was too easy. And then from there, just kind of carried on. And now sponsorship is now very sort of hand in hand with everything. But back then, I wouldn't even thought of doing that. But honestly, the relationships that I've made over the last decade with the people that I've worked with, and one of them is the actual trading card license holder. Our relationship is still going strong 11 years on. And I pride that more than anything else, because we've created friendships behind the scenes as well, because we're just so close, and we understand each other, and they know that they've got my back and I've got theirs. It's sometimes it's completely contra, sometimes there's money involved, but it's actually mostly just contra. So because they send so much worth of product, that it just sort of doesn't seem right to even do both of them, the whole pay and play aspect of it, because that relationship existed before, I guess, monetization was a thing. So I guess that's a very long-winded way of saying that I generally very much sort of the work that I do with the sponsors and the relationships gained there as a human being, being able to interact with really, really awesome people, and like you, passionate people. They're passionate about the things that they work for, the things that they sell or want to get across in terms of messaging. That's what I align with.
Yeah.
And it's just very natural. So there's no effort. There's no marketing strategy. There's nothing like that. It's just very organic. And there's nothing forced out of it as well.
So who is the license holder for the trading card?
Trading card game. So trading card game. That's the license holder for that is the Banter Toys and Collectibles. They're based in Melbourne. And we've got the toys currently now. I think that is Wicked Cool Toys, and then you've got the anime by Beyond Home Entertainment.
So you said before you were even the monetization for YouTube was there. You were kind of in there with these companies. Yeah. How did you first? Did you approach them, or you said you approached them, right? So how did that go?
Yeah.
That approach.
The first two people that I approached was Banter Toys, because they were obviously trading cards, and that was very heavily the channel in the early days. And then Beyond Home Entertainment, who did the anime, because we stocked it at work. So I contacted Banter Toys via Facebook page, and I said, "Hey, if you want to work together and stuff." And similar on the phone, call with Beyond, who distributed locally under a different name. He was so enthusiastic about it. There was no effort there at all. It was just asking the question, and that was it. For Banter Toys, I found out at a toy fair dinner one night that she no longer works there. She was a marketing manager then, Louisa, and she's a dear friend as well now. But she said to me, like, she thought, who the heck is this random guy? That's just talking about collaborating. And then her superior actually gave me a shot. And he also became the history was made there because he gave us a shot, and I showed him what we could do, and who we can reach, and he's also now a friend. He's a professional friend as well. He put me in touch with Tomy Australia, who held the license for the toys, and that success went on for years before the license of toys went over to Wicked Cool Toys, who they have it now. So it kind of went from there. Really, it was just asking the question in both situations. I think now it'll be a lot difficult because it's probably more common, and therefore they sort of have to pick and choose. But back then it was just sort of like an organic question really that I asked, and kind of went from there. Yeah, and they gave me a shot as well, which is the big thing.
And that's the thing, is the shot, right? Like a lot of people, like a lot of companies won't give people shots because they have to be very calculated. But I mean, it's very, very cheap advertising when they think about it.
For sure.
Giving you a box of stuff that they've got thousands of, it's going, here's a box of cards. Could you go and do 10 videos on this? As opposed to dropping thousands of dollars on there for advertising. They've just here's a box.
Yeah. It's just too easy, and the niche is already there, so you already sort of targeted the market there. But again, it was, while it was advertising for them, for me, it sort of saved me money so I could focus on my studies and still actually do what I like and share it with people that I enjoy sharing it with. So it was all really, really cool.
Yeah. What's something that you were like blown away, like this, like somebody approached you and said, hey, like, here's something, and you're like, whoa, really? Have you ever had that moment?
It was Tomy Australia. Tomy is a massive toy giant worldwide. I'm not sure if you've heard of them, but I've known them since the beginning because of their Takara Tomy toys, the collectibles that you get, and you'll see their toys everywhere around the world. I think when I was put in touch with them, I just didn't really realize the sheer scale of what that relationship was going to be, because I was very early stages. I was kind of not aware of this whole aspect of collaborations and how huge it was. Only until I received the first shipment did I realize that, I have done something successful here, and God knows where I'm going to put all of this stuff and figure it out. And the funniest thing was, I was with Mum and Dad at the time, and it got delivered, and my mother, she walked past these massive cartons. There was about 10 of them, and they would literally go from the top to the bottom of the ceiling. From the bottom to the top of the ceiling. The ceiling is at the top. That's terrible English. It sort of reached the top, and there was sort of about 3 rows of that, and it was hard for her to sort of get past in this narrow corridor. And she just sort of looked at me from outside the door, and she just kind of looked back at the arrival, and she just didn't say anything. She just walked off. And I don't know what the hell that was at the time. I thought, God, she must have thought I actually bought all this stuff, and that, my PokeCollection stuff has gone too far. But she actually just said, okay, so if you're getting this much, you definitely can't afford it. So therefore, you are doing something right. And basically, that was it. And so that was probably the biggest moment, I think, because Tomy, that relationship was a real awesome. It was fun to work with them.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, that's great, eh? So, content-wise, because you do YouTube, and that's your main, portfolio, I suppose. That's where, you lay your hat, and that's where it's been for the last 10 years. Because you were on Twitch for a little while.
Yeah.
And then have you done any other ones? Have you done, have Have you tried like? Is it just the one thing? Have you tried? I don't know, Twitter or Periscope or anything else?
I used to do Periscope back in the day. I think the main thing that I used to use live wise was Ustream, and I had really nice viewership back then. It was about 200 per stream on Ustream, but it wasn't sort of made for gaming or anything like that. It was not Flash as Twitch is now. It was just very basic, but I mean, all I was doing really was opening up boosters, and the main perk of viewers coming in to see that was that they can interact obviously with me live, but also it was allowed people to see sort of the openings as sort of a behind the scenes kind of fashion from a different angle before it actually reached YouTube in advance. So that was the main thing with that, and so that was the main thing that I used before. Obviously, is Snapchat and Instagram stories, and obviously Periscope came in to play. I did a bit of live here and there, but Twitch was where I sort of tried to start making a move to, because I kind of felt that was the sort of natural way to progress. I'm still learning. I'm still very much a noob, so all I get is fails on Twitch. But I do like it here. But otherwise, I don't really sort of use Mixer or anything like that.
Yeah.
In terms of live shows. So
how often do you have to like? Is it? I know that I don't know if you know the algorithm, I suppose, for YouTube, but like discoverability on Twitch is not that good, but on YouTube, have you kind of figured out how people kind of discover your like there's little tricks that you can use, you know, like?
Well, most people sort of search. The search function is where I exceed the most, actually more so than even subscriptions. But I've noticed over the years that whether it's the algorithm that's changed, tagging systems or whatnot, my viewership has actually dwindled quite a bit because it's just a saturated market now. The US tends to get releases because they're all made there. They get them a lot faster than Australia, New Zealand does, or Oceania overall. So there's always a disadvantage in terms of time and distance. For example, today is actually the release date of the new trading card expansion, Rebel Clash, and none of our stores or even my marketing stock hasn't actually arrived and won't till next week. So, and already the US, for example, have had 2 weeks of showcasing this really early. So there's a bit of a disadvantage there. So that kind of takes away from the algorithm a bit because it sort of favors the buzz. When by the time you sort of get it, the buzz is kind of gone. But otherwise, people sort of just really watch it on the channel watch page, or just kind of search the videos through and sort of come across them via recommendeds. That's what it sort of shows in stats wise, really.
Yeah. And do you in terms of your analytics, what are some of the things that you look for in your analytics that you're like, yo, this is what I have to, because viewership can be very fickle, right? It can be up and down. Yeah. So is there any other thing that you look in there that you're like, okay, I'm gonna kind of figure this out and try and focus on that?
I tend to look at retention in the video itself, the average, the median, sort of how long they take before they sort of switch off the video. So it sort of gives me an indication of how boring they find me until they realize, okay, this guy's really crap. That's sort of what I look at a little bit, because it does show me that, you know, people are enjoying the video or enough to carry on watching the whole thing. And I find that a lot more important to me than subscriptions, because subscriptions, while you got subscribers and, you know, they've made the dedication that they want to follow you, I find that even subscribers won't actually watch videos as much as people casually come across.
Yeah.
You know, that makes sense. So I sort of try to focus on the fact that we're always trying to see if new people want to come and watch and be part of the community, and always encourage that, you know, there's always a place for people on PokeCollection. It's always very inclusive. It is family friendly for sure, but it's also not designed so that it, you know, alienates adults or, you know, people that are not kids. So it's kind of like for everyone, really.
Yeah, because I mean, yeah. That's interesting, because we don't really, on Twitch, you don't really have the retention. That'd be really cool to have, though. If you know, I mean, you can kind of see who's watching and when they go away and when they, you know, like when they get bored, and you can have a look. But that's very kind of like hit or miss too, because you don't know if they're just busy or because they can't come back to the video like they can on YouTube. So yeah. But in terms of Twitch, man, like, you think you're gonna give it another blat, or you gonna
Oh
give it
yeah,
another?
absolutely. I sort of dropped. I started doing it a very big time last year, and then it sort of dropped off because work gets in the way, and the working days are so long that I just physically don't have enough, or mentally even have enough time to dedicate to it. And I say to a lot of the viewers, when I'm online, when I record a video, when I do all this stuff, I don't do it. If I'm tired, I'll never do it because me as a person, I won't be enjoying what I'm actually doing, so I don't force content.
Yeah.
Pretty much every time you see a video from me or me being live, it's because I want to be there and want to do it or have the energy to do it. I hope to do a lot more Twitch. And I actually this week I had 4 days off, so I've been doing Twitch every single day, just because I've been wanting to get back to it more frequently and try to sort of incorporate it, even if it's just a short 1 hour stream type thing.
Man.
And yeah, just trying to get used to the whole sort of navigation of it all. And I've got a stream deck as well, so I'm going to try and customize that very soon.
Man, I can't even. Oh my gosh, I'm following you now. I can't. But I've been to your streams like multiple times. I've been there. Yeah. Remember, you had some great things. I don't know why I wasn't following. Sheesh. So, man, if you need any help,
I did the same thing. I swear I followed last time. I don't know what happened.
It's okay. We're both in the wrong here.
Yeah, okay, we equalize as well.
But in terms of like growth on Twitch, and you said it, like sometimes you just don't feel like it, like, and that's probably one of the things that I've kind of had to battle. I think every streamer has to battle, is that they're like, oh, I don't really feel like doing it now. But for me, it's like, I've conditioned the switch, where I can turn it on and off. I'm like, okay, it's and right now it's that's the one thing that I've gained a lot of things from Twitch in terms of confidence and being able to entertain and keep people sitting on the edge of their seats in case I say something silly, that kind of stuff.
Do you find it sort of therapeutic, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
It's very much so. I was never this confident back then, and the videos show it back then. It's awful, but I did develop a voice. Yeah. And I think you probably would have done the same thing.
Oh, for me, I was always very. How can I explain it? I was unsure of what to do. I think that's probably the way. I always had like the confidence, and I always knew I could kind of crack a joke and tell a story that would be really funny. But I just like the only people that I saw when I first streamed were these kind of, hey everybody, look at me, that kind of stuff, and I was like, oh man, do I have to be like that? And then I tried that, and it just wasn't my buzz. Like I was like, oh yeah, and it wasn't until I found people that were like me, like from New Zealand, and would speak the same type of lingo and just be themselves, that I could go, oh okay, I don't have to be Ninja, or I don't have to be that guy, or I don't. So and that would have been for you, right?
Totally.
So, yeah. Cool. How do you like? I have to. One of the cool things that another question that I wanted to know: How do you keep those companies? What are some ways that you keep them happy? Well, not happy, but keep them informed. Is there any kind of thing that you do to go, hey, this is what I've been doing? Because I know that they don't always watch.
I'm in touch with them quite regularly actually, but it's more of a casual sort of in touch, so they don't really need to. A lot of them don't actually. There's not very many. They don't hold me accountable a lot of the time. There's a lot of trust, but the people that I work with, I know there's a lot of people that I've worked with previously that have been very sort of campaign focused through when I had agents, which I actually stopped with the agents because it sort of turned it very transactional. It wasn't working for me.
What made you do the agent? Sorry to interrupt. What made you do the agent thing?
I needed a bit of help because there was a lot of stuff coming through, and it was starting to become a lot of noise, and I needed sort of somebody to help with separate the legit from the non. And also just in terms of admin and assistance in terms of monetized roles or collaborations and things, and part of it was also to do with voice acting. So yeah, it was a weird period. About 2 years I was with them, and I don't think they really understood gamers or content creators like us. They understood like beauty and lifestyle influencers because that sort of comes more naturally to them and the brands that they work with. But for pop culture, entertainment, sort of people like ourselves, it seemed to, I think, without sounding like I'm blowing my trumpet, because it sounds awful, I had better relationships curated with my own effort and with the help of people that I worked with than I was getting with them.
Yeah.
And so it was just starting to become a lot. I felt that period was sort of costing me in terms of my true self, and it was becoming too cold, transactional, which I hate. And I think that kind of took away from the passion of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't stick with them back then.
I asked that because I've had a few times where people have offered me exposure, I suppose, and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm just like, nah, actually, I don't really like that. Like, it's not really my thing. And I get the exposure thing. Sometimes it's good, but sometimes it's a free ticket to get some free stuff from an influencer. I hate using the word influencer. I hate it. I don't want to influence nobody. Okay,
no.
I want people to, like make their own mind up about stuff. But if I like something, I'm gonna be like, "Yo, this shit is the bomb!" Like, But it's really strange. It's a very, very strange. And you've hit the nail on the head too. It's because like you can't treat people like us, like the beauty people and the Instagram models, because it's a different audience.
It completely is. It really is. It was just. I mean, people there were really nice. I got some good experience in terms of voice acting and stuff. So that it wasn't a complete loss. But I think there was a point where I thought, this is kind of stripping me of. It was restricting me with what I did naturally before they came into the picture. So, it was just not a natural fit, and I kind of stayed away from them. That sort of thing.
That's why I asked, because I was like, actually, I could see why for like voice acting, but in terms of kind of getting your brand out, and you brought it up with trust too, like if a company trusts you to do the job and you do it to the best of your abilities and you do it, like they always say, like over was it under commit over produce or something like that, like you're always kind of doing the extra. And then, they'll always kind of give you the, oh, that was great, man. Thank you. I
mean, there was always like stuff in, they're always very, I mean, I suppose if you were to approach anybody now, like they'll always be careful, like, this person probably just wants free stuff and they're going to bugger off and that's it. They've gone with that. And they would have felt the same thing with me when it was this wasn't even a concept really, this influencer marketing, which I also hate that term, by the way. I say it just because people understand now it's sort of a normalized term. But for me, it just has connotations of entitlement, which is definitely something I don't want to be associated with. There's a lot of work and hard work that goes into the stuff that we do, so it sort of almost belittles it. But yeah, it's all about the shot, like you said before. And I think it's about dedication and once you meet them in person as well, which I have done, they've flown me over to Australia and Melbourne's become my second home because of it. It's just I love that city so much. When you meet these people, you realize who's working behind the scenes, and the relationship and the dynamic is so much more different than this mere transaction, and you care more about them. As you do about the business, of course, as well. There's always going to be business there, but you can separate them enough to know that, okay, this part's business and this part's friendship. But when you've got both of, that sort of thing, it's just, I mean, it's an awesome thing to have, really. And I prefer that over any other transactional thing I've had in the past.
And I was at this, I got asked to come to this party one time and to be the guy. Like they put me on a game and they're like, if anybody beats this guy, we'll give you some stuff, right? I was that guy. And they kept calling me the influencer over their microphone. And, man, like cringe. Every 20 minutes. If anybody here could beat our influencer, and I'm like, oh.
Yes,
I have a name.
I can't even take it seriously that name anymore.
So I said to him, I said, like, dude, like, please don't call me that. I'm not like that guy. Like, just call me Tim or Timprovise or whatever you want. But like the influencer, that's more like the Instagram model stuff. I'm just here to, and then I got on the mic and I said, the only thing I'm going to influence is some ass whoopings. Whoever wants to come and get it, come and get it. And then they were like, oh, I like this guy. He's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But man. In terms of
like, sorry, just on that term, I prefer content creator because it actually, in that phrase alone, it just kind of shows that you're actually somebody that actually does work, like, does something deserving to get whatever perks you get and all that. Whereas influencer just really now sounds like it's just a freebie generating model.
It has the connotation to somebody that just wants to do something for free.
Yeah, exactly.
And to like influence somebody is actually quite like, I don't want to influence anybody. I want you to see what I'm doing and go, bro, that was fun. I'll jam that game for a bit. Like for instance, like XCOM that came out, like 2K, like they don't give me shit. Like, that time they didn't give me nothing. They do give me some stuff for 2K because I do play a lot of 2K stuff. But XCOM, I was like, holy shit, this is a great game. And then I had to put underneath, this is not a sponsored tweet, by the way. Just so people know. But the real ones know. The real ones know if you're genuine or not. The ones that have been there, that have grown up on PokeCollection, and that are like, oh, like, in terms of like marketing your own channel, because you do a great job of that. So, how did you go about that, like from the start, and what do you do about it now? Are you quite into it?
I just kind of, I don't know. Like, it's one of those things again that I've just kind of taken under my wing as I've done it, sort of embraced as I went along. I just kind of like, okay, if I've got a video out, I'm just going to post an announcement about it. I mean, YouTube, for example, has changed looks so many bloody times now, I can't even count. But one of the best features is now the story feature, which people actually do look at that, and also the community page where you can actually post status updates and show people when you've got a new update, especially if they have no notifications enabled. So it's a good way to be in touch there, and it's like a Facebook on YouTube now. But otherwise, it's just kind of transferring the message across without being too spammy. I don't actually, and it's probably less in favor of what I do now, but I actually don't promote a lot of myself as much as I did before. I mean, I'll tell people that there's like a video out, but I'm not going to actually carry on going on about it. It's going to be maybe a few times, maybe throw back every now and again. But otherwise, I just carry on moving to the next thing. Also, I can't actually watch myself in playback, so I really don't know what I put online until once it's there, it just goes into the sort of vacuous space of nothingness. But in terms of I think in terms of getting the message across, I just let people know. I just post things up, and boom, hopefully people will check it out or not, and
Do you promote on like other like Medium, like? Do you do some Twitter stuff or Instagram?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got actually my website goes to a link of all of the social pages. So I've got Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, Discord, and obviously YouTube. So those are the main ones, I think. There's also email there if people want to get in touch with me too. But pretty much cross-platform everywhere.
And it has to be like that, right? Like you kind of have to try and find different people on different media. Do you mess with Facebook at all?
Do I use Facebook?
Yeah, in terms of with PokeCollection.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I use it a lot. I know not many people are actually on Facebook as much, but I actually use it quite a lot, and there is a bit of decent engagement there. But I'm actually trying to use Discord a lot more. As of this last week, we sort of sorted that out, and so I try to keep in touch with people outside of videos, because there can be a few gaps sometimes because of the editing and all that stuff that goes into it. So I sort of bridge the gap with conversations and random. And you've probably seen basically my stream of consciousness. It's kind of literally my whole brainwaves are plastered out on the internet, and people know what I'm feeling, good or bad.
Any TikToks coming up, man? Any Pokemon TikToks?
I signed up to TikTok, and I have been procrastinating from doing any TikToks because I don't want to do it for the sake of it. But I used to be on Vine quite a bit, so it's like that. But I just don't know if I can pull it off at this point. I feel like now I've aged.
Nah, you could do it. You could do it, mate. You could do it.
I'll see. I've got it. It's there.
Yeah.
It's just waiting to be used. Basically, it's in a dormant state at the moment.
One of my good friends, his name's Nortelica. He's a streamer. He's the funniest dude. He has transitioned over from streaming. He still streams from time to time, but he does TikToks. And what he does is he does cooking TikToks.
Oh, nice.
But the way that he does it is just like, oh, yo, chuck this, put this on, cheese, da 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 da. And his voice, like if you wanna hear a voice actor, that's the guy. His voice is it's husky, but it's like, oh man, I used to make him. Here we go. This is not family friendly, so just so you know, I used to. There's a website called 50 Shade Generator. Okay.
Oh dear.
And you click it, and you generate, and you put your names in. You put a couple people's names in, and it gives you like this whole text of just the nasty stuff. And what I used to do is I used to put his name in there and somebody else's, so be somebody, and then I would give it to him, and I'd say, dude, read this out, and I will make a video for it, and I'll give it back to you.
No.
It was the fun because that text goes too hard out, like it's like ugh. But the way that because his voice is his voice is gives you the chills. It's so good.
Check him out.
Yeah, I'll link you over to him. He's the man. He comes on. He comes on the podcast, and we just talk about cartoons.
Oh, nice.
And with like 80s cartoons, we had 80s cartoons. We're going to do 90s cartoons. He's a big cartoon guy. So, yeah. Anyway, so he's done a good job. So I'll link you over there. So anyway, we're onto our quick fire questions, man. So what we do at the end of everything is I run through some questions, all right, and you can take your time if you need to. You can think about it, but they're just really quick ones. Okay. The first one. Do you know the poker rip?
Oh my god, no! I saw somebody post that. I'm the worst Pokemon fan in the world. I can't do it. I can't. Sorry, I actually can't.
It's either you can or you don't want to. It's one of those two.
I can't. I'm embarrassed myself.
Because if you said yes to that, you know what the next question is going to be.
In this entire quick fire question, I'm pretty sure I will out myself as being the worst Pokemon fan of all time.
Oh man, we're about to crack that real deep open then.
God, this is scary.
Let's go. This one. What's your spirit Pokemon, man? What Pokemon are you?
Morpeko.
Okay, there we go.
So it's a new Pokemon from the Sword and Shield. Yeah. Basically, this is perfect timing for me to say this because it's currently Ramadan. For those who don't know, we fast from sunrise to sunset, so there's no eating or drinking, right? So Morpeko got announced, and as soon as I saw it, it was me. Basically, it's always snacking and munching throughout the day, and it's really happy. But the moment it has no food or it's hungry, like me during the days at the moment, it actually turns so vile and evil. That would be me. That was just literally. It's literally my Twitter bio as well. If you go see it, you can spell it. It's there. Morpeko is my Pokemon mood essentially.
All right. What color's your toothbrush, man?
Blue.
Blue. That's a good one. What's the best bakery you've ever been to in your life?
Oh, that's a difficult one.
I know. I ask these hard questions.
I'm just going to say Amano because that croissant was actually orgasmic.
Where is this?
This is in Auckland. Do you live in Auckland? I can't remember where you live.
I'm in the south of Auckland, but I'm in.
Okay, when you're in the city, we need to give you a tour. We need to go eat, and I'll show you because it's great.
This is a perfect time for me to pitch something to you. Okay, I want to come on one of your videos, mate.
Oh yeah,
I want to come on. I want to be the guy that's just dumb because I don't know anything. And I want you. It'll be great. It'll be you educating me.
Yeah.
The ultra novice and the ultra expert comes together. We make a little sandwich.
We'll open packs, and I'm not going to pronounce them at all. You can pronounce them. I mean, I probably get a few wrong, but the people that do it with me, my sisters, my wife, and also my workmates, have been hilariously awful.
I would love that. And here's another pitch idea. We do that, right? But we do a random accent simulator, all right, and I have to do the name of whatever that is because I don't know them. If it's like Welsh, if it's like if it's Scottish, if it's I have to do that. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Sounds good.
It's on camera. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What is your go-to at the bakery then? What's your
any cake? Just give me cake every day.
What's your favorite cake?
I'm going to sound like a real, no offense to all the grandmas out there, you're great. But I'm a real grandma. I really love the classic British Victoria sponge. It's light, fluffy, creamy, and jammy. So good.
What about pies, man? What's your favorite pie?
Meat pies or fruit pies?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but like, when you go to the bakery, there's
no question here.
When you go to the bakery, there's steak and cheese, mince and cheese.
My favorite pie. Okay, I actually said it in the comments below, but I think I was shot down for it. But it was the salmon, cream cheese, and spinach pie.
That was you.
Delicious. No, don't laugh. Don't judge me. It was so good.
Salmon. What is it? Salmon, cream cheese, and capers?
No, spinach.
Oh, that sounds great.
It was. There's a place on K Road. It's actually one of the. They do this pie fee thing. They put like coffee in a pie thing.
Oh yeah, anyway, I've seen that.
Have you seen it? Yeah. That place has the pastries just so good. I'm so hungry now.
Okay, I'm gonna have to take you out south, man. Okay.
Okay.
And I get to mention this every single podcast. Clendon Bakery in Clendon in the bottom of the hood is where Clendon's where I'm from. I was born and raised in Clendon. I live like 3 minutes away from Clendon. I'm in Monday.
Okay. I've never heard of Clendon. But
Clendon,
cool.
Well, if you go, Clendon Bakery actually won. There was a massive thing on Flavor FM, and they won in the whole of New Zealand. Okay, so we're gonna have to do an exchange.
Why don't we just start a foodie series? I've always wanted a foodie series, and I wanted a friend to do it with. I feel like we'll do a really good one.
I've already kind of sorted that out. We got to wait for this COVID thing to die, and we're doing it.
Yeah, when the social distancing, dies down and everything. Yeah, so that sounds awesome.
Yeah, that pie sounds expensive, man. That salmon pie.
Oh, it was just. It was. I don't say just. It was $7. It was a really expensive pie,
anything over $5.
Sorry,
but
I'm a bit of a food snob. Okay, I sound a bit.
Salmon's expensive, man. Like.
It is. That's the thing. It's like $5 a bloody piece.
Well, hold up. If you think about it, sushi, which I don't know if you get the same amount of salmon, it wouldn't be cooked either, is 10.
It's raw.
10
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a. I'm a real foodie. I like raw fish and everything. So I don't know.
Raw fish? How? Like what do you mean? Just
sashimi type.
Okay. Have you ever had raw fish? The island version of raw fish?
Is that one they stab it in the
no.
No,
they cut it up and then they put it in lemon overnight.
Oh right, okay. Oh, like the coconut sort of
and then they put coconut cream on.
Oh my gosh, that is the best.
Oh mate, I'll tell you what, my missus.
I absolutely love it.
My missus makes the best one. Okay.
Oh no way! Don't tell me that.
We're gonna bring you over. I'm gonna invite you over, mate. We're gonna have a barbecue.
There in the morning to start the fast. You'll see me out the side of the window.
I know. That's right. You. When does Ramadan finish?
It finishes. It's only just this is the first week, so another 3 weeks or so. So probably, I think sometime after the 25th of May. I think.
Okay, this is my last food question then for you. Okay.
Cool.
Okay. 2 questions. Okay. Yeah, how do you have your steak, mate?
Oh, medium rare.
Thank you, sir.
Medium rare. Sorry, I hate to put judgment on anybody that eats meat and
judge them. We're all going to judge them. They shouldn't.
My parents love it well done, and I just can't. I can't bear it.
Oh, I can't do it. And last one for food, right? What's your go-to Macca's order? What do you order at Macca's when it's time?
Fillet of fish.
Oh, yes.
That tartar sauce is. If I could be given a massive jar of tartar sauce or be sponsored by McDonald's,
dude,
please, McDonald's, do it.
You and me are probably the only people that I know.
Seriously, I'm literally high-fiving you right now, but I can't commit the street.
I talk about the fillet of fish on.
It's good.
It's good, man, and everybody gives me shit for it all the time.
I don't know why. I thought I was going to be given shit for it now, but I'm glad somebody actually
We're on the fillet gang.
Yeah, fillet gang. We've already started. I think we've started our foodie show title.
Man, I love me some fillet of fish, man.
Oh, I love it. I get the double. I get the extra tartar sauce. And, oh god!
They sell that tartar sauce, right? And,
yes, and they also do a catch of the day. So if you really want more than one burger and you want it not so expensive either, do the catch of the day, and it's awesome.
All right, dude. Are you Android or iPhone? Which one have you got?
Android.
Yeah, man.
Sorry.
It has to be, right? Have you read a book that has positively shaped you, bro? At all?
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool.
Guardian Leviosa. No, my English and my written and spelling English has really, thanks to J.K. Rowling, I probably sound like her most of the time.
Have you been to Hogwarts before, man? Have you been to
in my dreams, yeah.
The Universal ones? The ones at the theme parks?
Oh, no, I wish.
Dude.
I wish I could go.
Dude, it's the best.
I need to go. I'd love to.
Just going to flex. I've been to 2 of them, mate. Okay? I've been to the one in LA.
It's like me and my wife definitely want to go. Like, man, I could be there for ages.
Yo, you got to go to Japan, eh? Like,
Japan, yes.
You totally. Have to. I remember I was flying. I was at the airport. And I scrolled through. Do you remember this? I was at the airport ready to go because I took my kids over, and I was scrolling through, and then you popped up, and you're like, "Man, they need to have."
Oh yes,
yeah, that was me, man. Remember?
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, you were like, so. What happened was he was in there, and then I just scrolling on my Twitter feed, and then it was like, man, the people at Japan need to sort it out so we can have a poker center in Auckland, and I was like, dude. I'll pass it on. And I did, man. I went up there. I was like, hey, are we going to get one of these in Auckland, New Zealand, or what? They looked at me strange. They didn't know what I was talking about. But
they're never going to do it. Yeah. I wish they did.
I went to like 3 poker centers. There's heaps of them.
There's so many there. And they have like regional exclusive type stuff as well.
So good.
Which is awesome.
If there was a... who would play you if they made a movie about your life, man?
Oh, God. Probably my friend Ranil, because he's also brown. And also people mistake him for me.
Okay. Did you have any childhood nicknames, man, for your friends or your family?
Yes, Asda, which is it's a grocery supermarket in the UK. Basically, you turn the letters around and it's Asda, or a sad face, which is currently just sort of stuck, and it's still my nickname.
Is that because of the resting face?
Well, it worked, so we stuck with it. It sort of became a branding thing. But people just like to sort of put the A sad and then put face at the end of it. So, yeah, I think it just sort of works.
Asda is a high school in Auckland. Oh, in South Auckland.
Is it?
Yeah. Auckland 7-day Adventist high school.
Oh, right.
They call them Asda.
Yeah, that's what you mean.
Just so you know. And they always used to beat us at basketball. That's how I know. They used to be so good. What's the next one? How long does it take you to get ready in the morning, bro? Are you quick? Are you in and out?
Well, right now I'm working from home, so like 5 minutes. But otherwise, not very long at all. So probably 15 minutes.
All right. Last quick fire question. So have you seen Avengers? Are you an Avengers fan?
Yes, I have.
Yep. Clicks the fingers. Thanos, he goes to his own little planet, he retires, right? What would be your perfect retirement planet? What would be on it?
That's a really good question. I have no idea how to answer that. Like a real planet or a made-up planet? Or what?
Made up, man. Made up.
Made up. A planet where there is only beaches and ramen, and basically it's Japan amplified.
So it's just Japan. So you'd stay on this one.
Basically, it's Japan and it's Zen, and there's sort of like, those huts and calming things around with nice smells.
There's ramen everywhere, eh? Like
ramen everywhere. There's ramen sort of lakes and all sorts of readily available noodle products.
All right, top 3, man. Top 3 potato chips.
Oh my gosh, this has to be. Oh no, this is tough. Prawn cocktail. Very UK flavour, UK cheese and onion, and salt and vinegar.
Are you? When's the last time you had a Jaffa cake, mate?
Oh, it's actually been a few months. I miss them. I love them.
I've never had one. I just know that.
I mean, not. Oh my! Again, we need to do these food adventures.
Top 3 cartoons growing up, man.
SpongeBob SquarePants, Rugrats, and Dexter's Laboratory.
Regrets, man. And last one, man. Well, if you were to do a duo Halloween costume with me and you, okay?
Yeah.
Three ideas. Throw them out. Let's go.
Jesse and James, Meowth and Wobbuffet, and Nurse Joy and Officer Jenny.
I want to be Nurse Joy. Okay, that's me. I want to be. I want to be Nurse Joy. She's it. All right.
I don't know why they came to my mind of all the characters. Yeah.
Oh man, thank you so much, dude. This is a great interview, man.
Mate, thank you. That was awesome to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh man, and if people want to find you, where can they find you?
You can find me on social, but the easy way to get to anywhere that I am, just go to PokeCollection.com. Easy.
Cool. All right, man. Thanks so much, dude.
Thank you, mate. Take care.
Oh, awesome. That was great, Assad. You're the man, bro.
Well, thank you. That was awesome.
Why were you even nervous, man?
I've not done this for a while. I don't know why it would come out like that. Sometimes mumbles come out and I sort of get stuck and I sound like a warbling mess.
I'll tell you what, I had a whole bunch of Pokemon questions, mate. I was like, oh, should I quiz them? Should I spit hot Charmander fire at it?
Too much.
Oh, no, not at all. All right, dude. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, mate. Take care. See you later.